Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this episode I give you some secrets on shooting and retouching urban landscapes. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Ramelli, I'm a French photographer living in Paris and welcome to my new episode which is 103. I do 2 free tutorials every week that I put out on YouTube, and if you want to get every week from YouTube these episodes, all you have to do is click here to subscribe to my channel. Now, I can also give you the opportunity of having over 100 free raw files from all my podcasts. All you have to do is click here to sign up on my newsletter. Once you subscribe to my newsletter, you will get access to this page, and this page will give you dozens and dozens and dozens of free raw files from all over the world, so you can train yourself on Lightroom and Photoshop. Also, I'm happy to announce that I have again 40% off on my entire store until the 21st of March. So, if you want to buy any courses from me, now is the right time. Okay, so this week's tutorial is all about urban landscape, cityscapes. You know, one of the problems we have when you go to San Francisco or you go to New York is you got the very tall buildings, and when you try to shoot them, they're all distorted. You know, how do you do to get great city landscape, urban landscape? Well, this is what I'm going to show you. That's the final result. That's a photo I took in San Francisco. And let me show you how I did this. Okay guys, just before we get started, I just want to show you something. A lot of people have been asking me how they can purchase a complete package and have the best price on it. Just so we're clear, the $340, which is already 70% of discounts, includes spring 2014, the 40% off. And the way to get the best price is you click on direct download, and by default, it will already have a discount code applied, which is the photo 40, and it goes from 1040 to 624. If you want to get it down to 340, you just put in complete and click on update cart after entering. And there you have it, $340. You're talking dozens and thousands of hours of trainings, hundreds and hundreds of raw files. It's the package to get, is the complete package. All right, now to the tutorial. I want to show you this cool trick. And don't forget to sign up to the newsletter so you can get all these raw files, over 6 raw files, each 21 million pixels for free. So I was walking very behind Union Square in San Francisco, and I really love San Francisco. And one of the things you have in the US is these tall buildings. And what is it in New York or San Francisco? I always have a bit of trouble of getting them, getting the buildings to be straight, because you've got a lot of perspective problems. And just overall, how do you shoot the cityscapes so they look right? Well, this is how I do it. I go on manual mode, and on this one, this was like early in the morning, so the light was not so much light. What I did is I put in my camera 1/60 of a second and ISO 400 and f4, because I was using the 1740 lens, which can only open to f4. And so 160 is I know that I will be sharp at 160 and ISO 100 because I want to get best quality. And actually these settings, which is the minimum settings to work with hand, turned out to be the perfect setting for this photo. So what I did is I took 6 photos. I did actually 2 panels. From left to right, I took 1, 2, 3. There was a very nice light because like the early morning light. And then I went back just a little bit above. No, actually, I just went above this one. I'm sorry. Just look at this. Above this one. And then I went from right back to left. Okay? And so what I do, and each of them is 1/60th of a second at f4 ISO 100. So all I have to do now, let me reset this one to make sure we are totally fresh. Okay, I'm just going to add, oops, I'm sorry, I'm on the tool here. I was wondering what the hell's going on. Okay, here I am. So I'm going to open up the shadows and bring down the highlights. You know that by now. Then I'm going to press the Alt key, and I'm going to move right on the white slider until I see some sun. Okay, that's fine. That means these pixels are 100% white. I'm going to press I to take the info of the photo off. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the blacks. I'm going to go the other way around until I see some kind of blacks. And then I eyeball it like this. Pretty cool. Now, when you have a lot of city, of textures and bricks, what is really cool is clarity. I love clarity, does a good job, and vibrance. Now, for the white balance, I think I was on daylight. Yeah, daylight is cool because it was really daylight. And overall, I think it was going to give a good feeling to the photo. So very, very simple retouching. The tricks comes a bit later on. Then I'm going to select everything and I'm going to click on sync and make sure to check all and synchronize and sync everything. Then now that everything has been retouched based on the first photo, what I'm going to do is, now that they're all selected, I'm going to right click, edit, merge to panorama in Photoshop. So it's going to open up Photoshop and it's going to do its thing. It's going to take a bit of, you need a fast computer because you're talking, 6 big raw files. So I'm going to click on OK. And I'm going to put on pause until Photoshop does its magic. All right, so Photoshop finished its magic. And one of the trouble you have on this type of photo is, like, for example, the building is leaning a little bit. There is a bit of distortion. So first thing is I'm going to press Command E to merge all the layers into one big layer. I'm going to press Command G to put it on its own layer. And now it did a lot of correction, but I want to go further on that correction. And so that's why I go to Filter, Adaptive Wide Angle. And that filter is really powerful. At first, the photo is going to look more distorted because it's taking the raw data. But then you have this amazing cool option that I really like, is you have to follow, you click once and you follow the line of a building and check it out. You just follow the curve of the building, and then what you do is already it makes a correction. Okay, and then you can go on one of these points and you click, this should be vertical, so I'm going to click on vertical. Then the whole photo is going to get a bit distorted. So then I'm going to click here in the middle and I'm going to follow that line of the building. And I'm going to tell him right click. I'm going to right click here and tell him this should be vertical. And then you have to do that for all the key lines on your photo. So I'm going to do this here on this building, and you see how the line is curved. It's following the distortion of the building. That's really cool because it knows this was shot with a 1740, so it knows the problem with 1740. And then I'm going to right click here and click on vertical. Okay, so now it's getting much better. You have to look in the corner. I'm going to do one more here in the corner. Now on the corner, what you can do is just do one line and just click on it. It's just going to make it a bit more straight, but not more than that. Okay, on that building, I want to do it here. Okay, I'm going to click on this saying that it's vertical. All right, and I'm going to go on this building also and tell that it's vertical, that this should be vertical. Okay. All right, and well, more you put, more you do some correction, and more Photoshop is gonna try to to do things right. Once you've done with the vertical lines, you see this line here, this one. I click here, and I'm gonna follow this line. You see how it's curved here? If you want to correct that, you can just follow the line and drop it, and it's gonna make this line a bit more straight. So now everything is more straight, is more like what the eyes is seeing. Okay. So I'm going to click on OK. So that's after the filter apply. I just cropped the image on anything that was not there. And you can see this is the before and this is the after. It's not a huge deal, but it's just more natural. And I just cropped out anything that was not needed in the photo. So once I've done that, I go to File, Close, Save, and it's going to re-import into Lightroom. So I'm into Lightroom, and now I'm ready to do what I call a double processing. So the photo has been, retouched, has been merged in Photoshop, retouched in Lightroom, merged in Photoshop, back into Lightroom, and now you can do a double processing. That means that I can open up the shadows again and bring down the highlights again. Now, if you do that, it's going to give you an illustrative look. So I'm going to show you 2 versions. Let's say you're a very reasonable man and you like very natural things and you only eat organic food. Well, in this case, you open up the shadows just like this, just a little bit, and you're basically done. Now, let's say you're crazy like me and you like very illustrative and saturated look. Well, you can open up the shadows at +100, bring down the highlights, and then do the white point. Okay, again, do the black point and boost clarity. And you get like a sort of, because it has been double processed, you get a sort of a very, illustrative. It looks like a comic book thing, but that's just me. So you can go natural or not natural. So that's just an additional trick. The main trick was about, how to get a cityscape to be right. Okay, now let's do a couple of things. I want to close this photo, meaning that I'm going to add a graded filter here on the top. Just a little minus exposure so that we have a nice gradient here in the sky. And that sun here is a bit more strong. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom here, a little graded filter, make this a bit darker. I want the attention to be more on the buildings. Okay, and the last thing that I don't like about this photo is that this whole part here of the building has a very even lighting, and you know how I like to have a bit complex lighting. So I'm going to take a brush and I'm going to make the flow and density around 80 so that the brush stroke is not so much visible. I'm going to boost a bit the exposure. I'm going to add some clarity a little bit and make it not so big, and I'm just going to make one little streak here. Maybe it's a bit strong, and the whole idea is I just want to complexify a bit this light, so it's a bit less even. Maybe do that here and here a little bit, here to enhance the little things. Okay, maybe a little bit here, and voila. That's pretty cool. I'm going to close this, maybe even boost the contrast even more, and let me show you the before and after. The before and after, before it was from Photoshop, so you can see what the double processing did. Okay, I think I went a bit too much on the saturation, so I'm going to desaturate it just a little tiny bit. Yeah, and yeah, that's about it. I kind of like it. So backslash key. Okay, that's the before. That's fresh baked from Photoshop, and that's with the double processing. So we gave it an extra look. I think maybe my blacks are a bit too strong. But one little advice, when you do this type of retouching, what you can do is, you just walk away from the photo, look at some other things for like 5-10 minutes and come back to it and look if you like it or not. Then you can increase the the saturation or the clarity or whatever. Okay guys, hope you like this, and let's get back to me. All right guys, so I hope you like this episode and that you will take the advantage of the 40% discount and that you sign up to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for being there every week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Au revoir.